Hey, it's Jules again. This video I want to talk about what we were talking about in my psychology class today. Okay, anyway. In my psychology class, we were talking about stereotypes and things like that under social psychology, and the whole thing is really interesting and it makes a lot of sense. But the most interesting thing that we saw today was a little video clip. Well, it's really little, it was like 17 minutes long, but a video clip about this woman in like 1960 something. I'm not sure, but she did it right after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. She was a third grade teacher. Her name was Jane something. I can't really remember. I don't have it written down, I believe, but she did an experiment with her third grade class where for 2 days she was going to show them what it felt like to be discriminated against. And I guess this means a lot to me because Wiccans and witches and pagans are in the religious community are often discriminated against as not so much the minority but as the evil religions. And it just kind of felt like what she was doing to them was not only showing them what it was like to be discriminated against as an African American or at that point in time an immigrant from a foreign country, but nowadays that can be applied to being discriminated against not so much for race but for what you believe in. So basically what she did was she told her class on the first day that they were going to do a little experiment, and being third graders they just kind of were like, yay, game, let's do it. She told them that because she had blue eyes, that the first day she was going to let the blue-eyed people be better. And at first the kids were like, what are we doing? What? So then she continued on to say, it is a proven fact that people with blue eyes are better than people with brown eyes. People with brown eyes are stupid and slow, and you spend a lot of time waiting for them. And then she made all the brown-eyed people in the class put on these blue collars around their shirts. And then she continued to tell them that brown-eyed people would not be allowed to play on the playground equipment. They would go last to lunch and things like that. Blue-eyed people would get 5 extra minutes of recess. Brown-eyed people had to use cups from the drinking fountain. They couldn't put their mouths near it. They had to put all the water in a cup and drink from that. And that's how it was. So she did that for a day, and then the next day she switched it and said that the brown-eyed people were better. And it amazed me that these third graders didn't realize what was going on. They were just like, the people who the day before had been the better people and had been picking on the people who had brown eyes because they had brown eyes were now the ones on the bottom, and they were the ones crying and saying that it wasn't fair. It's crazy to me that they wouldn't realize that this was happening to them. But anyway, they switched to people who were wearing collars, and all the same circumstances applied. And she used things with the blue-eyed people, such as the blue-eyed people are wasteful, the blue-eyed people are forgetful, because one of the kids who had blue eyes had forgotten his glasses that day. Another kid that had blue eyes went and got water from the water fountain. Phone ringing. And had to use a cup. And after he used the cup, he went to throw the cup away. And the teacher just flipped out on him and was like, blue-eyed people are wasteful. You can use that cup again, take it back to your desk, out of the trash can, and write your name on it. Because brown-eyed people do not tolerate wastefulness. And she also did, as part of this, she has these phonics cards that she was using with them every day as a general thing. And she still used it with them, but she separated it. And the brown-eyed people would do it, and the blue-eyed people would do it. And the first day, when the brown-eyed people were on the bottom, and they were the ones who were stupid and not good enough, their time was 5 minutes and something to do those stack of phonics cards. And the blue-eyed people the first day, who were on the top, had 3 minutes and something. So she was like, okay. So the next day, when they switched it, the brown-eyed people who had been at like 5 minutes and something the day before, got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And she was amazed. I was amazed at the fact that just because they're being discriminated against and being told that they're not good enough, they actually begin to not be good enough. Which is basically what we were covering in psychology. And the same thing happened with the blue-eyed people. They had done better the day before than they did the day they were being discriminated against. And with these kids, it actually resonated with them, and they didn't forget this. They were some of the people who did, when they got older, still fight for freedom and equality and things like that, because of the fact that they'd had this done to them. They'd had their lives destroyed for a day, and they'd been told that they were unworthy because of something as simple as their eye color. And I just felt that this was such an amazing way to teach such a complex thing in psychology as stereotyping and discrimination and what we call the attribution theory, but I'm not going to go into that because it's really crazy and long and in detail, and there's a lot to it. So if you want to know about it, you can research it online or take a psychology class. But anyway, it was a really amazing way to teach this lesson. I love my teacher so much. He makes the class the most amazing class ever. But anyway, but bringing this back to Wicca. As I said earlier, Wiccans, Wiccans, witches, pagans, we're all discriminated against at some point. Yes, there are people who aren't a pagan of any type, and they don't have a problem with us, but there are a majority of people that are not pagans do have a problem with us. They associate us with devil worship, which it really has nothing to do with. There is black magic, and I'm going to do a video about that in a little while because I actually got a comment from a YouTuber, and they wanted to know what my views are on that. So I am going to do a video after this one about that. So I'm not going to go into that too much, but black magic still isn't devil worship. So it really bothers me when Christians put us in the stereotype of being evil and being devil worshippers without seeing what they're doing to us, without seeing that they're making us feel. I don't personally feel inferior to them because I believe that all religions are valid, but I feel like they want us to be inferior to them. That's the whole concept. It bothers me. So that's really all for this video, but I found the way that lesson was taught and the deepness and the depth and all kinds of stuff with that lesson, I just had to share it, so I did. So that's all for now. I'm going to go ahead and do the video about black magic now. So there will be 3 videos uploaded today. Much love and bless be. Mwah.